So I used to like The Voice. I never watch it anymore. And occasionally it's because I turn it on. Here's what happens. If you watch that idiotic show, The Mask, we were talking about this yesterday.
Oh, so dumb.
No matter who is in the weird animal costume, all of the celebrity judges go, oh, that's Elton John.
Oh,
is
yeah.
it Madonna?
Right.
I'm pretty sure that is Billy Joel. There's not a chance anybody on their first guesses would ever put on their stupid costumes.
Right.
And it turns out it's like the late Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Okay. And on The Voice, God bless him because it's like legitimate musical talent.
Mm-hmm.
But on The Voice, all the judges, no matter how many notes a contestant misses, they go, I got to tell you really, tonight was your night. You really.
Completely
so
agree.
last night, I'm flipping through while I'm prepping for the show, and somebody did Rascal Flatts, Broken Road, which is a great song.
Nice, yeah.
And that guy did the complete miss. Complete miss.
Just
I
didn't
wanted to
sound
hit
good.
the auto-tune button on my remote.
Oh. And who turned her on first?
I don't know, because I had to bail. Because I put my hands over my ears. So make it stop. And my wife went, just change
Switch
the channel, dummy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, at any rate, you know what? I've totally forgotten why I brought this all up.
The Voice and, how you were watching certain things and then the people. You used to watch The Voice all the time, but now
gone.
you don't anymore.
No, it's gone. You know why? I was drinking with some Amish people.
You were a vending machine.
Yeah,
and
just ruined it for me.
You wanted a Black Sabbath craft beer.
Would have been great. It would have been great, but we couldn't get to it.
But who are the judges on The Voice now?
Julie
Blake?
Balke. Julie Balke, our friend Julie Balke. She's on The Voice. President and Chief Career Strategist for the Balke Group. Good morning to you.
She'd be good, though.
I love The Voice. I'm not a reality show person, but boy, do I love The Voice.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The judges always go, I mean, literally, you could come in and go, God bless America. And the judges would go, oh, tonight you did it.
You were on fire.
I know. They're kind of running out of adjectives, but it's still fun.
I don't know. Hey, I got to talk to you about social media and the job world.
All right.
As
How can I
the
help?
President and Chief Career Strategist of the Balke Group, Gen Z. And what is Gen Z? I forget about the lines of demarcation.
They're like
7 to 9 year olds. What is Gen Z?
No, that's Gen Alpha. The next generation. Gen Z, I think the oldest
97.
person
I got it
is
right here.
like,
1997 to 2012.
Yeah, I was going to say the oldest one is about 27.
Yeah.
Is that right? 26.
26. Yeah. So here's the question. Gen Z turning to TikTok for career guidance. That doesn't seem wise.
Well, it's not as alarming as you might think.
Okay.
So there is two kinds of what I see on TikTok. There's two kinds of career advice. There's advice from people like me who are
legitimate
on, yeah. But also there are people who are sharing their own experiences. And so I was watching this young woman last week saying, here are 3 things I learned from, my first few years in the working world. And it was she was sharing her experience. And as I was listening to it, I'm like, yep, that all makes sense. So I think it's peer-to-peer sharing, but then there's also, it's so interesting. TikTok is so interesting because you've got older people, shall we say, people who are older than 26, really people of all generations giving financial advice, relationship advice. There's companies advertising on there now. So there's people who are, who legitimately that's their field, but then there's people like who say, I use this skincare cream and look how gorgeous I am, even though I'm only 24 and I'd be gorgeous regardless. It's so you get a real mishmash of that. And it's not, because I think we can clutch our pearls and say, this is the end of the world, but it's where they're showing up. And smart marketers are also showing up there to appeal to that group. Even companies are on there talking about what a great place to work this is, and so it's an interesting platform. And, I just got on there a couple weeks ago and I'm just getting my sea legs here, but
your TikTok feet wet.
You know what? I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna make a TikTok about my conversation with you guys.
That's great.
Oh, that's very cool.
What I'm gonna do yet?
I love
Yeah.
that. You know, Julie,
I got to think about that first, but
I think this is a good idea, seriously, because think about when we were younger and you're looking for jobs, there needs to be a place where young people can go to learn about. We would have, we'd hire a resume writer or a resume writing service. This is where they can go and learn about hard things like how to ask for a raise.
yeah. In fact, yeah, that's on my topic list for the next week or so is what are the 3 things you need to do if you're going to go in and ask for a raise. And so it's I think what makes people so nervous about TikTok is that their algorithm is so finely tuned. So you know how like you'll be thinking, I need to buy a blah, 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 or you say it to a friend, then it shows up in your Google feed. So TikTok they are really good, that their algorithms are really good at giving you more of what you already consume.
Mm-hmm.
And so it does make me a little nervous in the political space, in some of those places, but it serves up. It knows what you want, and
but that's but you just hit on it though. But that's part of the problem. It is so finely tuned for individual taste. You're not getting news. You're getting stuff that you're curious about or interested in, which is great.
Yeah.
But don't confuse it with news. Now, having said that, the Gen Z folks say that some of the workplace tips they're getting that they like are how to corporate flirt.
Yeah.
And something called being delulu. Is that being delusional, Miranda?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know how that's a workplace tip, being delusional. Can't you do that on your own time? What is corporate flirting? Do you know what that is?
Oh, gosh. That's it's really about managing up. And how do you kind of, I mean, it's about managing up. It's about, trying different things. It's about, and so what's so funny is all the new terms that people are using, they're all just new terms for old stuff that we've already experienced. And so, for instance, when we say, quiet quitting, what a new term. No, it isn't. Quiet quitting are people who decide that, they're going to do the minimum. They're going to do exactly what they were hired for, and they're going to set boundaries. And so when we talk about the Great Resignation or Lazy Girl or any of those things, it's when you dig deep into what they're saying, they're not saying or asking for anything that we haven't before, but they're just calling it something different.
Different names.
So we sit here and freak out when we say lazy girl, but really what it is, they're saying, we want more out of our lives than just work, and we're willing to set firm boundaries. Then on TikTok, they're just having fun with it. I mean, of course, not all the advice is good. And like, here's how to work 3 full-time jobs. That makes me cringe because that's a short-term strategy. You will get caught and you will ruin your reputation, and it's just not a good way to go. So, I do feel like sometimes I'm like, the boomer in me goes, don't do that, because I know that's not a good long-term strategy for your career or your life.
Yeah, we talked about that last time you were on, about how you don't have to listen to boomers constantly, but if you're working for boomers, then you got to pay attention until you're in charge.
Exactly. Who's making the decisions right now about your career? And it's not people, even the term corporate flirting, where it's really just about building relationships at work.
Right. Because the managing up types you talked about.
Flirting,
I worked for a guy who didn't have the guts to fire me. He had other people do it. But he hid for years. And it's one of the great mysteries to me how he's employed anywhere. But he hid for years, and he just exclusively managed up. Didn't care about the product. Didn't care about the last thing. So maybe that's a shade of it, too. Well, as usual, Julie, you've taught us. The question is, will we listen?
Yeah, that is the big question. We'll ponder that.
How do we follow you? How do we follow you on LinkedIn?
Follow me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Julie Bauke on TikTok and Instagram. I'm just getting started, but I plan on delivering all kinds of content really for everybody. So I'm trying to just jump in. The old dog needs to learn some new tricks.
Yeah. Well, listen, you are not an old dog. I'm an old dog. You're the one that takes me for walks, and I appreciate it. And I just followed you on
I bring my
TikTok.
food bags.
Everybody else follow her too. All right, thank you, Julie.
So yeah, bye.
See you,
All
Julie.
right, see you later. That's Julie Bauke. And the Bauke Group is what you search on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and within moderation, I think, because a lot of these are good tips from TikTok that the kids are getting.
Yeah, like Miranda constantly, because of her fine-tune algorithm, the channels she's in TikTok, she's in a channel called Dump Steve as soon as possible.
Yeah, she keeps us informed, I was going to say, but you said it much better.
So she gets a bunch of videos from people going, here's how you dump Steve, here's how you dump Steve, here's how you dump Steve.